You know, everybody, Layne wrote this book in 1997, and she had been compiling the images of the ancient frame drummers and creating her archive of these incredible figurines and stone carvings from thousands of years ago. She had been collecting them for years before that. So when this book came out in 97, what she writes, I feel, is still pertinent today. So, and it's so true. We are returning to rhythm. We're returning to the natural cycles. We're returning to the frame drum, to Layne Redmond's teachings, to the legacy that lives on through all of us. And Layne inspired me to do that. From who she was as a person and as an artist and as a teacher. And she said to me when I opened my center in Mount Vernon, Maine in 1995, in our barn, our drum and dance workshop space that was so beautifully, lovingly created for me by my husband, Jeff Hanna. And when we opened it, Layne sent a note that I cherish to this day. And she basically said, dreams are a tremendous amount of work, and yet the only work really worth pursuing. And it's so true. So I have followed my passion, and being that I was so inspired by her work with the Mob of Angels and her Tambourine processions, a handful of years later, I began teaching women rhythm and ritual, tambourine workshops, and then the rest is history. We became a weekly gathering called Moonrise. We didn't have that name at first. It's what came to me after a little while, and then we were Moonrise, Daughters of an Ancient Pulse, and we brought our tambourine processions into the public and into private settings in 2000 and 2001, and it was a real highlight of my life, and I'd like to thank for all of the women who were part of Moonrise. And then Moonrise came with me in my heart to Florida, and I planted the seed here in Southwest Florida, and we had small groups of Moonrise drummers where we had a few wonderful opportunities to share the processions. This is our lineage. We are a procession of women frame drummers of all walks of life, of all traditions, and we are joining in a procession that serpentines through time and that lives on. So imagine that this procession is a line of women frame drummers over thousands and thousands of years. And once we have each picked up our frame drum, we step into this procession. We find our place in the lineage, and we march on with our frame drums in ritual and in reverie through time. And then the women who will come after us with their frame drums will be in the procession behind us. So this legacy will live on. Thank you, Layne. Thank you, everyone. Happy birthday, Layne. And so I'd like to leave you with a videotape from 2001 when Moonrise, Daughters of an Ancient Pulse, was drumming in procession with our tambourines at the Full Circle Summer Fair. And there was a band playing on the stage, and so we just fell into rhythm with them, and people who were there at the festival joined us in our procession, and then we circled up and spontaneously created a circle dance. Moonrise, Daughters of an Ancient Pulse, in celebration.